Stories matter. The stories of the African diaspora matter. Stories of struggle and sacrifice that tell the traumas and the testimony. Stories that inspire and connect the triumphs of the past to struggles of the present. From its inception, the African Methodist Episcopal Church has had a story to tell. It has been telling its story in a variety of ways, from the Christian Recorder, the AME Review, Women's Missionary Society's Voice of Missions, the lay organizations We Speak, and The Anvil, the annual resource guide of the Council of Bishops. The Anvil evolved into telling stories of African Methodism in a series of documentaries. Payne Theological Seminary has picked up the mantle to tell the stories of the African diaspora so that their contributions to communities and countries will not be lost. Here is a sampling of our stories.
We're going to have floods, but the Spirit of God is with you.
The churches are the first line for the community.
There's so many things that we've had to endure going through this hurricane.
The devastation is unbelievable.
We start out with Jesus and we're going through.
Katrina was one of the worst natural disasters in the history of the country. Families were torn apart, scattered, and lost.
People who don't have no food, homes, clothes.
More than 1,300 people lost their lives.
We should never, ever be in this kind of situation, ever. Is this America?
With apocalyptic devastation everywhere.
You've got people out here that are hungry. You've got people out here that need housing. Society's not doing it, then the church needs to do it.
Yes, I've lost everything, but God has never left me.
Anything that man makes can be torn apart, but what God makes is eternal.
I don't doubt that God should be mad at America, but that's not the way I understand God works.
The Black church has been a major supportive force, the spiritual backbone of the community.
Let us speak with a unified voice our concerns in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The frustration of our anger must be repeated all over this country until restoration and healing takes place.
It's almost like mysterious, something that happens every 4 years.
And each General Conference is its own creation, its own creature.
And we've been doing this since 1860. For all of my years, it has been a rather intimidating place.
The General Conference is the one place where people felt like they had the right to challenge.
At that time, he was not president, but we could see him on the front steps.
And now we were all standing there, crowded in this room, and Senator Obama, now President Obama, said, "Would you pray for me?"
Keep me in your prayers, AME. Keep my family in your prayers, AME. Go out and organize with me, AME.
My hope for the church is that we don't lose our history.
I would like for the General Conference to be reminded of why we have brought ourselves into existence in the first place.
When I think of the AME Church, I'm reminded of the quote by Bishop Norris that says, "The AME Church is the best gift that God has given African Americans."
The African Methodist Episcopal Church is a church that was founded on the idea of self-help, because nobody will do for us what we ought to be doing for ourselves.
The man who had meager resources at the time himself decided that if we put our nickels together, then we can not only help ourselves, but we can help our brothers and help our sisters to get to a point where they can help themselves and help somebody else.
But social justice is very important to AMEs because somehow or another it seems to be part of our DNA, our origination. It's our essence.
What we're really going to have to do is look at what's really significant that makes us who we are.
Apartheid in South Africa now, the story hasn't really been told, but it started in the AME Church.
Black people, people of color, anywhere in the world could be anything they wanted to be. Man, it gets you fired up.
What happened in Charleston, South Carolina at Mother Emanuel was absolutely horrific.
I was devastated.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound
as we passed through the various communities, white folk, black folk, the smaller town, standing with American flags, the flag waving, tears flowing. I said, my God, but why did it take that tragic incident for that to happen? And then shortly thereafter, the removal of the Confederate flag, something that I knew was not going to occur in my lifetime.
But Mother Emanuel, since 1818, has stood for freedom and worship for African Americans in South Carolina. And so it's an humbling privilege I have to serve as its pastor.